And a good mixture of plants, that's a big thing. Mixtures of plants are huge. So they can choose whatever they want. Different plants will attract different things. This is probably maybe June, July maybe. July. This is around a cash drum here. And same garden in December. Don't cut it down. Leave it up until the spring. So all the pollinators that you were attracting all summer are now harboring and living over the winter here, unless they're die out, come back like little eggs. But it gives you all kinds of great textures taking place throughout it, as you can see. But I just love the colors that are happening. Oh, I'm sorry. This is late November, not December. Sorry. Another habitat garden. Planting. I'm finding that planting in combination of drifts and individual plants mixed in really is a good way to do it. Because a lot of times I'm finding that if you put an individual, say butterfly weed, the orange one, they have a little hard time finding it. But when bigger clumps of 4, 5, 7, then you can see these are, and they're almost always covered. The smaller the grouping is really important, so they're covered by it. There's right there is right before they started blooming, but a few weeks later, a month later, sorry, they were completely covered with monarch butterfly caterpillars. Must have been 8 or 10 just on those half dozen plants. Same garden, here's the butterfly right there. Penstemon is also a big one. Bumblebees love those. Another habitat garden. This is a front yard garden. All this area here is on a slightly raised bed, so you can create space from which people that aren't seeing you. There's a sitting area in here. You can sit and not be bothered because they're putting all these taller plants. These are 4 to 5 foot tall plants here. This is my favorite. This is a panicum. Kind of the north one. It's a very straight plant. Very nice grass. Oh, and also it's my favorite. I love this. This is Sending Back the Eye. Just tiny blue flowers in the spring, and then it's feathery leaves all summer. It just dances in the wind. And in the fall, it's this amazing gold color. Asclepias tuberosa. No, I'm sorry. Amsonia hubrechtii. Blue star, I think it's called.
What grass? What's that?
This? No, it's a perennial.
Just a perennial?
This is shrub, Caryopteris. Late season bloomer, August, September, so is covered by bees, bumblebees, and carpenter bees. In fact, they even fall asleep on it overnight when it gets chilly at night. In the morning, so I go out on this garden, work on in the morning, see them all sleeping there, and when it warms up enough, they start coming active. It's kind of cool, actually. I've never been bit working in my gardens. I've been bit twice in the past 20 years, I think it is. One time it says working hives, about 20 beehives, flip-flops, short pants, and t-shirt in some places. Walked away for about a couple, 3 hours, walked away about 100 feet, took my flip-flops off, walked in the grass, stepped on a bee and just bit. That kind of thing's happening. Another time it got stuck in my shoe when I was walking by it and I was going to kill it, but it did. It wasn't because I did something. But I'm rubbing elbows with these guys all the time. I don't get bit. It's how you approach them. Don't be afraid of them. They don't want to kill. Like what we find in our garden. This is some cool stuff. I have so much more to show you on this stuff, but I won't do it too much. An orange dragonfly. This is on, God, sorry. I have so many plants in my head. It hurts sometimes. That's a cicada. They're called locusts. That's the nymph. I dug it out of the ground by accident. That's what it looks like. Kind of cute looking. This is not a bee. That's a surfer fly. There are a lot of insects out there that look like bees. They're mimickers, so other things won't attack them. There's a bunch of different kinds of them around this area. There's this, you said slight differences in the back here. Another one here, slightly different back again here. But it's still a surfer fly. Of course, as they was, don't buy them in garden centers in packs. They're not being harvested correctly. They're just going in and stealing them basically, or they're not doing it properly. I've stopped using them entirely. Unless you have some major problem, but get them from the right companies. Abaco or Abaco. They're a big supplier of beneficial beneficial insects. Tree swallow. They're around. They're really cool birds. A Sigmar tussock moth caterpillar. Found this in Westmont, actually, for my clients. This I couldn't figure out. I found this underneath one of my hellebores. Couldn't figure out what the heck it was. Took it to a bunch of entomologists, and about 2 or 3 weeks later, they called me back and said, it is the attachment from a caterpillar cocoon. All that's left is all that's left is the little ring left, and that's the attachment to it. I have no idea. Tiger swallowtail. Again, if you plant them, or just in this case, bring them into your property, those are the pots. They'll come to you right away. That's within 20 minutes of them being delivered to the property. I mean, literally, it's incredible. Another one, same thing. This hummingbird moth. This is good. Now the wings are timed because of how fast the video is recording. The wings don't, or just you can sort of see them, but it's only because it's catching them once in a while. You wouldn't be able to see the wings otherwise. Now those are a flux, you know. And here's an unusual bug. I have no idea what it is. Can't figure out what it is yet. I never sent it out to anybody, my friends, to figure out what it is. Just beautiful. Oh, that's agastache, by the way. Anis hysa. Another monarch caterpillar. Now this is a late season monarch, probably November, into November, I'm guessing. There's almost nothing out there native that's still blooming. I'm starting to use some Asian asters. This is Aster jindai. It's somewhat semi-aggressive, it'll spread around, but it produces beautiful flowers later in the season. It's one of the last ones to bloom. I just love it. There's also, and for shade garden, something called Togo, the same thing. They're Asian, they live little miniature orchids. They're just gorgeous. They're too big to come across them. They're like shade, some sun will take. Now this is an interesting area. This is on asters here, a bunch of monarchs, of course. They're just feeding them like crazy. I'm standing here taking this picture, and in the front of me I'm seeing this one monarch not moving on the back side. So I was like, okay, I'll finish these guys. I'll go back and photograph them. Guess what I found? An invasive Chinese praying mantis. After I took the videos, I looked down on the ground. There's 2 sets of other monarch butterflies that I had already gotten. I walked away, came back again 5 minutes later. It already had honeybees in its mouth, chewing him honeybee.
Does that mean children?
Basically, yes. When I saw that, it's already killed 4 things right there in the past less than an hour. It's time to go.
Did you get it?
This is a native mantis, half the size. I'm okay with that, because that's what those were here. That's what meant to be. They can't catch hummingbird. They're too small for that. But this is on the same plant again. same grouping of clusters. Sorry? Oh. I will. Do I have one here? No, I don't have it. I'll go back to the beginning. The native ones are smaller, but they're different color, green and brown, depending which one it is. They vary. But their wings go down only part way down the abdomen. That goes to the tip and do I have the no, I don't have, oh. Like this, the abdomen ends right there, the wings will end right there. Not much, but it definitely does. Yes.
Can you tell by the cocoons? Because I always find mantis cocoons, and
piece of cake.
I usually keep them alive, but if they're...
The ones that are rounded, that look like hardened foam, those are the invasive ones. The native ones are long, or thinnish, long tubes, so to speak. Usually mud, they look like mud almost. If you Google it, you can find pictures really easily for them.
Okay.
I'm not finding many at all native ones. I'm constantly finding the invasive ones. They sell these at garden centers again. Kids love them. They're fun, but they're not good to have. These guys are good. That's native. This is a common buckeye. I saw so many of these last year. Never before like this. Quantities are so amazing. With another common buckeye later in the season, it's a little ratty, wings are messed up, but this is really, really beautiful butterfly. They're eating on Agastache again, and of course here the honeybee. Aphrodite fritillaria. Again, I'm seeing these things all the time. Honeybee feeding on frogs. This is a poppy. The flower is maybe 2 inches. These are little tiny wasps, full-grown wasps. There are a lot out there. You wouldn't even notice them. And mason bees, you wouldn't know they're bees. They look like, well, you'll see them. Flies. That's a honeybee that was almost drunk. I watched it for maybe a few minutes. It was just staggering around trying to fly. It couldn't land on a bee. It was incredible. This is so funny to watch. I wish I had a video of it. It kept trying over and over when she was flying to that. This is a honeybee when it's not heavily related. These are mason bees. They're tiny. Again, they look like flies. Just about. You'll never, unless you know what it is, you'll just think it's a fly flying around. I always go, I look at the details of things. You have to go away and give them tight look at it. This is really amazing what you find. This was taken yesterday. That is a minor bee. They drill big holes in the ground, and the little branches, a bunch of them lay their legs, either lay their eggs or larvae in those, and they overwinter that way. They're out like crazy right now. On my front yard, there's over 100 of them out there flying around. No, this was a crocus. What's wrong there? Same thing, again, but this is a hellebore. So even though it's Asian, they're still finding food on it. It has an ecological value to them. Again, there's not much blooming in the area, so they're limited. So I personally think whatever I can do to help them, I do. Let's also show them. Hellebores are really nice. They bloom. They can start blooming in December, or depending which one you have. The Lenten rose, which is white, is the one. The hellebore niger. Hellebores niger. That's white. That's bloom Christmas time, December. Then the exotics, the hybrids will bloom a little later. And the flowers will just start going, losing the color June, July, maybe. They're just gorgeous. They're an evergreen too. Some of them have really amazing leaf structure. I have about 20 plus of them. Yellow sulfurs. You usually see the white ones. This is a yellow cabbage. We call them cabbage moths. This is a yellow one. The white one's usual, yeah. I think there's a shot of one of those in here. Black swallowtail. This is Phloxgena. The blue dragonfly. That is a lotus flower, bud, which I just love for the gorgeous plants. These are flowers. It was a forbidden love. Here's a white cabbage flower on an aster. This is later in the season. And a pearly crescent spot. Saw a bunch of this last year also. The plant it's on is mountain mint. That is pretty aggressive, but it's really good for pollinators. The way to counteract an aggressive plant is plant other plants that are aggressive with them. Now, people think a lot of aggressive plants means it's invasive. That's not what invasive means. Invasive means a plant from a foreign country or place to the area comes in and takes over entirely, therefore eliminating everything else native around it, leaving no food sources at all for plants, for butterflies, birds, whatever it may be. Now, the reason I think butterflies is because birds rely almost exclusively on the larval form of butterflies. One clutch of chickadees requires about 800 to 1,000 larvae a week to raise one hatch of chickadees. Doug Talaby's book explains this. It's really amazing. Therefore, it's butterflies, but everything is therefore helping the rest of the family. Plus, then everything else will go to them also. So. But you can get very specific to what you want to attract, butterfly-wise, especially, and birds-wise too. You can plant, pawpaws. Sorry, I can't think of it. Different plants thing. If you go into the National Wildlife Federation's plant and or butterfly, and they'll tell you what you can do. This is a rare one, Eastern Comma, just gorgeous. There's a kind of feathery back to it here. This is a pink. We saw a bunch of these last year also. First year ever seen in the area. That's on a, I think it was this Autumn Nights salvia, I believe. Sedum. And Emma. She would always come with me to feed her. I have a bunch in my yard. I used to when I had more time. They always come up to me and help me feed them. It's kind of fun. Now, last set here. Habitat garden throughout the year. It looks like in May. Fills in a little bit. There's other things come out before that. It's already missed the initial flush of bulbs. But she doesn't have many bulbs in this garden yet. I've been trying to get her to put more in the year, but she resisted. I don't know why. Oh, this is the blue star Amsonia erectia right here, starting up. Tiny blue flowers. To me, they're almost inconsequential. I'm after the flowering foliage in the summertime, and then especially the golden fall color. You see that soon too. This is in June. There's a Penicillium skirting here, foxtails, some kind of, what is there? Some kind of colonium here. The purple salvia, and up front here is coneflower, plus a bunch of grasses. This is in July. This is when these tons of stuff flying around this thing. I have videos, but I didn't make too much. October, the ashes are here, the Amsonia is still here. You can see it's starting to lose its intense green to it. This is the aster time. That's what I love. It's gold. Truly. I think when I do my gardens, I think, what's it going to look like year round? What can I do to make it look good year round in some way? I just love this. And there's a tall grass here. That's a Millennia Sky Racer. It gets about 7 feet tall, but that's about as dense as it ever gets. It's a see-through. I look at a see-through. Something here that's not there. Kind of neat for that. And January. There's still something there. It's most colors are gone, but it's still given shades of browns. But then it's back to the start again. And that's it. Questions? I'm sorry. I don't give any fertilizer out. For the birds, I do. Put bird seed in my place. Bird seed out. Especially what do I feed? unanimous. Is that what? No. At most, I'll initially put down some leaf compost. I'll get into it. It's a good question. Thanks, Chris. Most of the thin layer of leaf compost only.
What was the question?
Do I feed the plants? Sorry. To start with. But most of these plants, because they're adapted to these kind of stuff, do not want fertilizer. They want it as lean and mean as possible. If there's too much fertilizer in the soil, it will get tall and start flopping over. It just goes crazy. They want to fight it out. I want them to fight. I want them to literally prove that they're worth being in that garden. It's literally, that's how they develop those long roots. They're fighting. They coddle them on the fertilizers, water them every week. The roots are going to go a fraction of how they really want to go. So you're fighting the drought and what it really wants to do. Don't coddle the plants, literally. Yes.
The January one that you showed up there, where it was all brown yellow.
Yeah,
Do you cut that down?
I will
How?
now.
How?
Trimmers, hand knives, shears, whatever you can use.
Do you mow it?
You can.
That's one option.
It's one option.
Be easy.
Yeah.
And then do you compost
Now,
everything?
one, yes and no. I'll come back to that. But one of the things is you don't want to cut everything down. So a lot of these plants have hollow stems. And a lot of the pollinators, or insects, want to burrow and live in hollow stems. So leave a number of them up, 12 to 18 inches tall, throughout the garden. And they'll not start using it. You can tell they're in there. You start seeing little bits of, I guess plant material coming out, little crumbs at the top of it. You know, something's in there that happens. Don't cut everything down, if you can. But if you do,